Hey guys, this is Greg with Greg James Designs. I'm out here in Perkins, Oklahoma, checking on a project. We got about a 6,000 foot building here, about 3,200 square feet of its living area. It's been a long journey. We started this in, I think, November. Had a ton of weather, a lot of setbacks with weather, wind and weather, and rain. But we're coming along. We're about 85% done on the exterior of this building. They're wrapping up, putting the skin on. And we had a tornado come through here about 2.5 weeks ago. Took off about 10 sheets of the roof panel up there. We had to replace that. Fortunately, it wasn't anything else damaged. But we didn't have the walls on, so the wind got under it and took a bunch of metal off. But yeah, so we've had several setbacks. We're making good progress now. Framing's about 90% complete on the inside, but why don't you come on with me? We'll do a little tour around the outside here and kind of show you our progress, all right? So, all right, let's go. Glad to have this wrapped up here. You know, the biggest thing on these, really any project, is getting these buildings in the dry. You know, you're fighting weather to get these things closed in, but once these buildings are in the dry, then you can just rock and roll, and you're not having to worry about rain and snow, what have you. You know, you can just move along. So this is a worldwide steel building. Good building, really good building. So, like I said, we're about 85% complete here, getting this all closed up. We're up putting the roof braces in right now. This particular shop has 2 large roll-up doors and then 1 smaller roll-up door for her, the wife's little SUV to pull in here. As you can see over here, another nice big safe room. This one's huge. This is like 5 by 9, 5 by 8, something like that. It's pretty big. And then let's go out over here. I'll show you around here. So let me show you, here's the way on these worldwide steel buildings, this is the way these porches are attached. So I think this will be useful for you to kind of understand how they do this. This is, you know, their system here. So they attach these trapezoidal frames. That's bolted to one of the steel columns right there. And then you put your secondary framing on the bottom, then the bottom of this will be buttoned up with a metal panel, you know. So Pella installed these windows here. So they put the window in and they put this zip tape on to seal it right here. And then I'll show you on the other side how we finish these windows out so they don't leak. I think one of the biggest things I see on metal buildings floating around the web is my doors are leaking, my windows are leaking. Well, that's because they weren't flashed in properly. As long as they're flashed in correctly, don't have a problem with that. So let's keep going. We have a wainscot here, see, so we have 2 wall girts here for our wainscot so that we can put our trim right here between the upper panel and the lower panel. As you can see here, the framing's just bumped right up against, the wood framing's bumped right up against the wall girts here. This is on a steel building structure. This is called secondary framing, okay? So your steel columns, your main framing, and then this is secondary framing. This is now, depending on the wind loads of these buildings, depends on the gauge and the thickness of these girts and these purlins. So the heavier the wind load, the thicker these column steel will be. So I think these are 20 gauge. but you know, they'll go all the way down to 18 or 16 gauge. So here's a door. You got your J metal on here, which is in a J shape. But come here, Rachel, I want you to see this here. This is the way you do it. Is you want to extend your top piece past your leg here, and then what we'll do is we'll caulk that little cut right there. That'll seal all that up. Same thing here. So they put a little 45 on this. Once again, up here, see your top piece of J channel is extended beyond your side leg, and then we'll seal all that in right there. These the metal is cut nice and tight in here. Normally we don't go in here and caulk this. It's not really necessary because these windows are sealed to the secondary framing, and then this building is going to be spray foam, so it's going to be super tight. And here's your little trim piece for your wainscot. It's really nice. This piece goes up in behind this panel here, catches your rain. So yeah, and then there's you can see up here where you're bolted on here to your steel column. On these worldwide steel buildings, on the side wall of the building, you can go out to 14 foot here without any kind of support. So we're going to put cedar, basically trees that are stripped down. It's going to be kind of rustic. But the posts are just decorative, so not necessary for the support. Now, the end of the building out here is a different story. These particular columns on the end walls, because as you can see here, this is a different type column. This is an end wall column, so you can see where it's bolted on here. Well, these end wall columns are not designed just to bear the total load of this roof, so you do have to put in structural support on your end walls on these worldwide steel buildings. I don't know about other buildings, but on the worldwide buildings you do. So that's that. So we got our windows in. They're finishing up getting our sheeting. I'll be glad when this all dried in. Keep the wind. It's still been really cold and nasty the last few days, but anyway, that's it. Thanks.